125 is the promo code. Here's part of the real quick comment from Mac Rhodes. What are your thoughts about Bob Bowlesby saying that he and the commissioner of the Pac-12 will meet, whether that is to form a scheduling alliance? Is it the possibility of looking down the road as a different conference or a joining conference, or what? What are your thoughts about what might happen, and how excited are you that they're at least talking?
Yeah. One, it's not my place to confirm whether they're talking or not, but I would say that's what your commissioner is supposed to be doing, right? We're counting on, the commissioner. We're counting on Bob to, provide, some direction and some different options, pathways, right? I don't think you could just, focus on one. I think that, for us, for Baylor, for the remaining 8, for the 3 Texas schools, right? Looking at a variety of options, and the conversation, again, I'm not going to confirm, but if that conversation happened between the commissioner and the Pac-12 commissioner, I would say, yeah, kudos to Bob, because he needs to be exploring all of those options, and I know he's doing that, and will continue to do that.
All right, so that's Mac Rhodes, and I do ask him about it. Is that something that should have been a little bit earlier? And again, we'll get to that at 4:15. Hope you enjoy it. Brigham Young on the clock tomorrow. West Virginia again. Southern Cal. We've already heard from West Virginia, UCF, and we're not done. We'll check out some of the other boxes around the Big 12. Of those remaining and others as well. By the way, some colleges have already started working out. Baylor, Friday, is that right, Craig? We'll start Thursday, their fall workouts as well. Now, this is from Josh in Charleston. If the Pac-12 and Big 12 do a merger, do you think they get a chance for West Virginia to find a home to do travel and geographic location? Well, it depends on the merger. And yeah, it's 2 more time zones for West Virginia. So I'm not forgetting, this isn't about whether it just helps Baylor, TCU, whoever. West Virginia's in the East. That's a 3-hour difference. Or sometimes, yeah, it's a 3-hour difference. And is there sometimes, is it more than that? If it's 12 o'clock on the East Coast, it's 9 o'clock West Coast. That's right. And there's a mountain time in between Central and Pacific. I get that mixed up based on the time of the year. I would hope so. And if there's going to be an alliance, which again are a merger, we don't know that. That's just their meeting. Then I would think you damn sure have to have divisions that are still somewhat geographically together, so you don't sit there and have all your games 3 hours away. It's hard enough right now the way it is.
You mean a midweek basketball game between West Virginia and Southern Cal might be problematic on a Tuesday night going from East Coast to West Coast? Yeah, I've seen that chatter a little bit today with the news that the Pac-12 and the Big 12 are talking, and they are the team that's kind of on the outside looking in that scenario as far as just like, do we fit here? Does this make sense for us? So, yeah, I don't know what West Virginia's reaction would be if, in fact, the Big 12 is able to pull off some sort of an alliance scheduling or merger-wise with the Pac-12. I can't imagine they'd be keen on the idea of what that travel schedule and those subsequent expenses would look like. But, if it's their only option, are they going to balk at that and then run the risk of perhaps dropping down a level? I don't think that they would do that. So, yeah, kind of a weird potential being the key word, fork in the road for the Mountaineers. And you would just hope, if you're a fan, that if there is something to this Big 12, Pac-12 thing, that there's also something to the rumors that maybe because of geography or just, teams that they, are neighborly with, that the ACC would be a good landing spot for them. But again, don't know the interest in the ACC as far as wanting to expand. And again, Notre Dame seems to be a factor in what, future plans for the ACC might look like, plus the grant of rights running through 2036. So they're not going to be, I think, shuffling deck chairs too quickly. I think they're kind of, surveying the landscape. But certainly, great question, because it puzzles me, too, how that would possibly work for West Virginia. And maybe it's a scenario where they do, in fact, seek shelter elsewhere in terms of conference alignment and maybe stay a little bit closer to home. But, yeah, don't know how that would work out.
This is from the 407. Hey, guys, both a West Virginia and Kansas grad here in Florida. Loving the coverage, telling all my fellow Mountaineers and Jayhawks about it. Wondering if you saw the Kansas graphic that the athletics department put out on social media this past weekend, basically making a case for KU to survive and thrive in the conference other than the Big 12. It seemed oddly desperate and a bit premature, Matt, in Fort Lauderdale. I think every athletic department is trying to put that up to kind of – and I'll let Mac do his discussion about Baylor with the interview we have. But I think everyone's trying to do that. I also think that we've gotten a lot, hey, about West Virginia, ACC. 2 weeks ago tomorrow at 2:30, all hell broke loose with the story about Brett Zwerneman. That's when it happened, 2 weeks ago. Not a single change has happened other than Texas, Oklahoma officially asked for release. They were invited, and they accepted. Everything else that Oregon or Southern Cal were going to the Big Ten, or that Florida State and Clemson or Michigan, and nothing's happened. All of that, every bit of that has been talk. That's what we do. That's what you do. But nothing other than that has really happened. And so this is not going to be solved overnight by any means whatsoever.
Well, to answer his question about the graphic, yeah, I saw it, and it wasn't just what everybody else is doing. It was a desperate attempt to be selected by some conference out there. I mean, you talk about a reach in terms of discussing your brand and trying to project it a certain way to the masses. This was a backfire in a major way for Kansas athletics. I don't know what the final totals on the tweet and all of that were, but I think there were as many laugh out loud type responses and sarcastic responses to the graphic as there were actual likes or retweets on the tweet. I understand what Kansas's athletics department is trying to do right now. I've seen West Virginia be very proactive and, posting stats here and there about, why the school is great and things like that. But that Kansas, did you not see it?
No.
You clearly didn't see it. Okay, yeah. So the Kansas graphic, it's got in big letters Lawrence, and then in even bigger letters right underneath that, and Kansas City. And then it says, extremely fast-growing area with over 2.5 million people living and working in the Lawrence-KC area. But again, they're not Kansas City. They're not, but they've now twice in the first two lines of this thing have, basically latched onto the city of Kansas, or latched onto Kansas City. It goes on to talk about top-end businesses, over 100 companies, employees, technology, blah, blah, blah. And then it says in big letters, new airport terminal coming in 2023.
Hey, no, I'm telling you, they needed that. They surely needed that. I'm glad that's the case, because that does help. Well, yeah. I mean, for me, when we fly up there.
Well, yeah, for those traveling there, that's great. But, it was just kind of funny to see that, like, hey, new airport terminal. Like, all of a sudden the SEC comes running like, hey, Kansas, you got a new airport terminal. We didn't know that. Come on down. And then, it talks about it being a great place to live and all that. But a lot of the actual Kansas City area residents or Missouri residents were like, you're using the state of Missouri as almost like it's you, and, Kansas City doesn't belong to you. You're not even a suburb of it. So, yeah, they got a lot of flack for that. But, I mean, I give them credit for trying. There's a graphic right there that they caught a lot. I mean, look how big Kansas City is compared to Lawrence on this graphic right here. So, yeah, I mean, they're trying like everybody else to find their new home and make themselves look as appealing as possible. But I think in doing so, you got to be smart. And this was a graphic that maybe somebody should have looked over and changed a little bit. But, hey, if it got the point across, then kudos to whoever did it. But online, it did not do what it was supposed to do, I don't think.
I'm trying to think. There's a lot of schools in college that could attach to the biggest city next to them. Obviously,
sure.
Waco. Hell, they'd like to attach to Dallas and Fort Worth, or even go Austin.
Yeah.
It would. 3.5 hours from Houston, but you can't use that. But that, hey, everybody's trying to get their name out. Everybody know who might be available among the remaining 8. All right, 254-339-1128. Excuse me, 1122. 254-339-1122. A lot of text going in. The chat room is rolling. And Matthew Braz, unless you're a journalism student, you go to KU, not Missouri. I can't speak for that part, but yeah, Missouri's got an incredible history with their journalism department. All right, let's go to the calls.